Picture this. You blink your eyes open, and something's off. No buzzing phone, no warm blanket, just wind. Howling, freezing wind. You're lying on a bed of frozen moss inside a dark, damp cave. There's no Wi-Fi here, no heater, no walls, except the icy limestone ones echoing your every breath. Welcome to 20,000 years ago. You've just been born in the heart of the last ice age. And no, there's no quick way back. You're stuck. Step outside your cave and your lungs are instantly punched by air so cold it makes your nose hairs freeze. Snow stretches as far as you can see. The sun is pale and weak. Trees, bare. Animals, giant. You're not even the apex predator out here. You're dinner with legs. Somewhere in the distance, a group of woolly mammoths lumber by like moving, hairy buses. There's also a shadow behind a ridge. Could be a saber-toothed tiger. Could be worse. You're not alone, though. You belong to a small tribe, 20, maybe 30 people. No one knows your name yet because, well, language is still a work in progress. You communicate with grunts, hand signs, and the occasional head nod that says, "Fire good." Mammoth big. You smell like bear poop. No school, no grocery store, no running water. Your daily routine is simple. Don't freeze, don't starve, don't get eaten. Breakfast? You wish. If you're lucky, you'll chew on leftover mammoth fat from yesterday's hunt. If not, you'll scrape lichen off rocks while pretending it's a granola bar. And yet, somehow, people like you survived this. In fact, they didn't just survive. They adapted, innovated, and passed on stories through firelight and cave walls. You are the great, very great-grandchild of one of those scrappy survivors. So if you think life today is hard because your phone battery died, try hunting breakfast when it fights back and weighs 6 tons. Welcome to the Ice Age. Hope you like mammoth for breakfast. Every morning. If you can call it morning when the sun barely rises, starts the same. Someone shakes your shoulder. Not gently. There's no snooze button in the Ice Age. You open your eyes to a cave ceiling dusted with frost, hear the soft crunch of snow outside, and feel your ribs complain from last night's bed. A pile of old hides and frozen moss. You sit up. Cold air slaps your face. Time to get moving, because in this world, the longer you sit, the closer you get to becoming an ice sculpture. The tribe is stirring. Grunts become greetings. Ash-covered hands rub tired eyes. There's a fire to be rekindled, if the embers survived the night. If not, good luck rubbing 2 sticks together with frozen fingers. Someone's already outside, scanning the horizon for movement. You hope for deer. You fear for wolves. That's the daily gamble. You're not alone in this. Your tribe is small but tight. Each person plays a role. 2 seasoned hunters plan today's route. A mother chews dried roots into paste for the baby who has no teeth. An elder sharpens stone blades, his hands shaking, but his memory sharper than any flint. You help gather fuel, firewood, dung, bone, anything that burns. Breakfast? If last night's mammoth meat wasn't completely devoured, you'll get a cold chunk, chewy, and smoked. If not, it's wild berries or nothing. Sometimes you even steal a bite of marrow from a leftover femur. It's warm, greasy, life-saving. Then comes the hardest part of the day, the hunt. Draped in furs, smeared in ash, you head out with the others. Footsteps crunch silently on snow as you follow ancient tracks. The air is so still, every breath feels like a betrayal. One misstep could spook the prey, or attract something far worse. When you spot a herd of mammoths, everything goes quiet. You know the drill. Circle them. Look for the weak one. Set the trap. Spears ready. hearts pounding. There's a moment where time freezes, just before the first yell. Then chaos. Trumpeting, charging, snow flying. Sometimes you feast, sometimes you flee, and sometimes someone doesn't come back. Back at camp, survivors return like warriors. Even if the hunt fails, everyone gathers to share warmth, stitch hides, repair weapons. Around the fire, the elder tells stories, not just for fun, but for memory. Stories of stars, beasts, spirits. They are your only textbooks. At night, as you curl back into the dark, with only the fire and a fur for comfort, your body aches. You think about the cold, the hunger, the risk, and how tomorrow it all starts again. But deep down, you also feel something else. A strange kind of pride. Because today, you survived. You think the cold is your enemy? It is. But it's only the beginning. One night, as the fire dims and the wind picks up its haunting howl, your tribe hears it, a low, guttural growl echoing from beyond the tree line. Then glowing eyes. 6, maybe 7. Dire wolves. Twice the size of modern ones, teeth like daggers, hungry after a long, fruitless hunt. You grip your spear, hands shaking not just from cold, but from the knowledge that one mistake means the child sleeping beside you becomes dinner. Your people form a ring, shoulders to shoulders, facing outward. Flames are stoked. Rocks are thrown. Sometimes it works. Sometimes they lunge anyway. And sometimes someone bleeds out before the dawn. Nature in the Ice Age doesn't ask permission. It doesn't offer mercy. The wind doesn't care about your thin furs. The blizzard doesn't care that you haven't eaten. Even water can kill. One wrong step on a frozen river and you're beneath the surface, screaming silently as icy blackness pulls you under. There's no second chance, no rescue team. You either learn fast or die slow. But what if you survive nature? You make it through the wolves, the frostbite, the thin ice. You think the worst is over. It's not. Because sometimes the most dangerous thing you'll meet is another human. The world isn't empty. There are other tribes, scattered nomads like yours, and not all of them are friendly. Some are desperate, starving, armed. Others just want what you have: fire, shelter, tools, territory. One morning, you return from a hunt and smell something wrong: smoke. Not from your fire, from your shelter. It's burning. You drop everything and run, heart hammering. You find chaos. A rival group has raided your camp. They're already fleeing with what little you had: furs, spears, even your dried meat stores. Your friend lies in the snow, face down, unmoving. Someone's child is screaming. Your elder is missing. You want to scream, to chase, to take revenge. But you know better. You'd only die too. Instead, you kneel beside your fallen friend, burying them under frost and stone. No time for tears, no luxury for grief. This is life and death. It doesn't get easier. You start to notice how every member of your tribe carries scars, some from claws, some from blades, some from the weight of memories too heavy to name. Trust becomes sacred. Paranoia becomes a survival tool. You sleep with your spear. You eat with your back to the wall. And you never, ever let the fire go out. But even in this brutality, there's a strange kind of clarity. You know exactly what matters: fire, food, family, and the will to keep going, even when the world seems to be trying to erase you. Because here in the Ice Age, death isn't just a possibility. It's your constant neighbor. But as long as you can stand, as long as you can move, as long as you can fight, you live to see another sunrise. And sometimes that's enough. After enough winters, you stop flinching at the cold. Not because it's any warmer, it isn't, but because you've adapted. Your tribe has, too. You've learned to make better shelters. Animal hide tents propped up by mammoth bones, sealed tight with mud and ash to block the wind. You layer your furs. You line your boots with moss. And most importantly, you've learned how to keep the fire alive. It becomes a sacred duty. Whoever's in charge of the flame knows, if it dies, people die. But survival isn't just about reacting. It's about changing. You remember when hunting meant chasing mammoths with sticks. Now, you dig pitfalls, you build snares, you coat your spear tips in fire-hardened resin. Even the younger ones help, carving flint, braiding cord from sinew. One boy invents a way to tie a rock to a stick better, and suddenly your throwing spear flies straighter, harder, deadlier. You don't know it yet, but you've just invented the atlatl, the ancient ancestor of the bow. And then there's art. One night, when the hunt fails and spirits feel heavy, a girl dips her fingers in ash and ochre. She walks to the cave wall and starts to paint. A mammoth, a sun, a spiral. Soon everyone's watching, even the elders. Because in that simple act, something changes. This is more than survival. This is memory. You've begun to leave a mark that outlasts the day. You also begin to speak more, not just gestures and grunts anymore. Words take shape. Names, directions, stories. Language is born, not in a single moment, but in thousands of fireside whispers. It makes you faster, safer, smarter. Now, when someone spots danger, they don't just point. They shout. When someone dies, you say their name. Even your ideas evolve. At first, you chased herds endlessly, wearing out your bodies and losing people to rivers and cliffs. But now you start to think differently. What if we move with the herds instead? Or better yet, what if we stay near the river and let the herds come to us? It's not quite farming, but the seeds of it are there. And then there's your view of the stars. For years, they were just cold lights in the sky. Now you notice patterns. They tell time. They mark seasons. They guide migrations. One elder draws them with charcoal, connecting dots on cave walls. It's not astrology, not yet. But it's the first calendar. Bit by bit, season by season, you're not just surviving anymore. You're changing the rules. You're building something deeper than instinct. You're laying the groundwork for what will become culture, community, even civilization. The world around you is still harsh. The cold still bites. The wolves still circle. But now you're not just prey. You are thinkers, tool makers, fire bearers. You are humans. And the Ice Age? It's not your end. It's your beginning. Now, blink again. You're no longer in a cave. You're sitting in your warm kitchen. There's a humming fridge nearby, a mug of coffee in your hands, maybe toast or eggs or pancakes on the table. You scroll your phone. The biggest threat in your day? A meeting you forgot or your Wi-Fi lagging during a Zoom call. But that cave still echoes in you. Because the only reason you are here, alive, thinking, eating breakfast that doesn't try to trample you, is because someone, long ago, did survive the Ice Age. Someone just like you, cold, tired, hungry. But they refused to give up. They learned, adapted. They made tools with bleeding fingers, cradled fire through howling winds, told stories with shaking voices to keep hope alive. They buried their dead, celebrated their newborns, and kept walking forward, even when the path disappeared under snow. You are their legacy. Your ancestors weren't kings or pharaohs. They were people who knew how to crack bones open for marrow, who hunted with teamwork and desperation, who learned to carve beauty into stone walls because beauty gave life meaning, even when death was always near. So the next time life feels too much, when the traffic's bad or your coffee's cold, or the internet goes out for 10 minutes, remember this. You come from mammoth hunters. You come from fire carriers. You come from those who stared down the Ice Age and said, "Not today." You weren't made for comfort. You were made for resilience, to adapt, to overcome, to keep walking even if the cold bites and the sky forgets to shine. So, be proud, because in your DNA, hidden deep between all the playlists and passwords, is the courage to survive an age where just being alive was the greatest victory. And yes, you would have eaten mammoth for breakfast, because you had to, and because someone did, you still can.